Hello, this is Jennifer from Women Loving Jesus, and today we're on Proverbs 14:8. The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. When we're looking at this scripture, this is one, Proverbs is full of this, not just this scripture, but Proverbs is full of just great wisdom for our lives. And I know we've said this, but really, when it comes to psychology is relatively new, 100, couple, 200, 150 years old, 200 years old. The Proverbs has been around for thousands of years. That's a big difference. And a lot of the best wisdom for our life comes from this book and still does, and is still relevant, and not so much from other areas of man's wisdom. When we look at the first part of the scripture, when it talks about being prudent to understanding your way, this is basically saying in self analysis, which we hear all the time in psychology, is observing why you do the things you do, your actions, and understanding the motives behind it. What this is saying is that when we are looking at our self analysis and examining our ways, we have to, the reason why Lord wants us to do this is because sometimes we could do things and our motives are not good for others or for ourselves. And the Lord's purpose for us is he has a hope, he has a plan, and he wants good for us. Satan is here to kill, steal, and destroy. So he wants to examine our motives sometimes because it's just not benefiting us in the long term or other people. And there's something better. And so what this is saying is the person who's trying to follow God's wisdom is examining himself and examining his motives. So if there is a person who doesn't examine themselves ever, this is not what the God calls us to do. But we examine ourselves with the Spirit of God and going to God because he's the only one who fully knows us. I mean, we can have people who love us all over the place, but the Lord knows every thought we have in our heart and our spirit and the actions that we're taking. And so he's the best one to turn to. And he is pure. He is love. He has no sin. He's the best one to say, is our motive good or is our motive not? And so going to him is what this proverb is saying. The second part of this, when it talks about fools, and remember, fools are people who do not follow the wisdom of the Lord. And it's talking about being deceitful. Now, some people are saying this is either you're deceitful to yourself or you're deceitful to others. Obviously, if you are having actions or motives that are deceitful to other people, that is not of God, right? That is, you're following the world, you're following selfishness, pride, greed, something's going on there. But the other part of this, which I really wanted to talk about a little bit, is it could talk about also deceiving yourself. And, what we can deceive ourselves in a lot of different ways. And that's why taking ourselves and taking things to God in prayer daily helps eliminate some of that. Because if you've ever known anybody in any type of addiction, when they're still in that self deceit stage, which is they're not admitting they have an addiction, and you've ever talked to them and you've ever, tried to say, hey, maybe heroin's not good for you and it's causing a problem in your life, or, you might be drinking too much or you might be smoking too much. They will, some of the things that, I've asked that question a lot because of the nature of what I do. But some of the things they say as an excuse is just, it just sounds foolish if we look at this proverb honestly. And it's because they're in that deceitful stage. And so part of going to the Lord, there's so many great things about seeking the Lord every day. Not only because this is someone who loves us more than anything in the world, is always available, but also the amazing things that go on with him guiding us daily through wisdom and love, I could go on and on. Sorry, I'm just going to go on and on about why you should seek the Lord. But one of these things is so we don't get stuck in, we're receiving the wisdom of the Lord and we can examine ourselves. So I pray that the Spirit of the Lord with the scripture today has encouraged you, and I thank you for listening.